All right, back at you with another Goji box today. This is an order that I got from Mercari. So we're going to get this sucker open and I'll show you what I got. All right, so this is what we got. We got the Hiya Exquisite Basic Godzilla vs. Kong. And this is this box is sticking with the color scheme from GVK. It's the same color and theme as the box for Godzilla from GVK. And it's really nice, the orange and blue. Of course, you have a picture of the figure right here on the side. Another nice picture of Kong here with the axe. Godzilla versus Kong. And then on the back, you know, of course, we have Godzilla versus Kong. On the box, we have two pictures of the figure here. Very nice. And, you know, we have several different heads on the figure. So we're gonna get it out of here and take a look at the accessories that it comes with. But it looks great. Just from looking at the box, the figure looks great. The face looks really good. So let's take it out and see what we got going on. Okay, so this is how it comes in your standard clamshell. You're going to get a piece of paper here that shows you how to hold the axe. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory, but these are the accessories. Of course, you get Kong's axe. You're going to get 1, 2, 3 different heads, a closed mouth, a partially open mouth, and a fully open mouth. And then you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of hands. And even right straight through the clamshell, you could see that I really love Kong's face on this figure. It's really done very nicely on the closed mouth. And you can see that straight away right out of the box. But we're going to get him out of the clamshell and dig into this further. Okay, so here we have Kong from GVK. It's the Hiya Exquisite Basic series. I copped this off of Mercari from a seller, Danny, DINH21, or Danny DINH 2021. I'm sorry if I butchered that, man. But I just wanted to give him a shout out. I'll put his @ on the video so you could go check out his store on Mercari. This was a display figure, and it's also been modified. There's a modified joint in his neck and in his torso to give more mobility to his head and torso so he could look up and down. And so, you know, I thought that was cool, and it's virtually a brand new figure. So, and it looks great, you know. I'll tell you straight up and down, the face on this is fantastic. Extremely screen accurate, man. This thing looks like it's alive. Look at those eyes. What a well done closed mouth head of Kong. You know, that's the first thing that it strikes you right off the bat. Everything seems to be well done on this figure. The paint job is just really nice. It's a lush, plush paint job. Of course, you got the scars on his chest from Godzilla. The fur looks fantastic. And, you know, yeah, look at the paint job. It's just very, very rich and good looking. You know, so that's what we got here. Just straight out of the box. I think it's just very, very nice. It's screen accurate, which, you know, that's what Hiya is known for, basically. You know, the screen accuracy. It has a little less articulation than SH Monster Arts figures, of course, but you know, it still has pretty decent articulation, but it makes up for that in screen accuracy. And I think here, in terms of just the overall look of the figure as well, the paint job and everything seems to be hitting on all the notes. So This is just the first look of him, and I'm going to pose him and show you what he does, and then I'll show you the accessories that he comes with. But just, you know, straight off the bat, looking amazing. One of the nicer closed mouth heads I've seen on any Kong figure. Really, really nice. Grabs you right away. So let's pose this sucker and see what he can do. All right, so right off the bat, I wanted to go with kind of an all four pose. You can't really do that, you know what I mean? You know, and I'll show you what it looks like if you try to do that, but to make it look like he's walking on all fours, you really only got to have like one arm down. If you put both arms down, he's just not going to look straight ahead like you need him to. And the legs aren't going to do what you want them to. So, you know, bit of a drawback, considering that other Kong figures do, you know, go on all fours better than this one does. But still a cool pose you could get him in right here. And I'll show you what he looks like on all fours. I mean, you know, that's basically what we're looking at. Where he's kind of like, if you got him on all fours, he's looking straight down. You really can't. And this is a modified head that looks up even further. So, you know, it's kind of awkward looking when you have him like that. And the arms really don't extend like fully down like some of the figures. They have a bend to them no matter what. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we're working with. It's not terrible, but it's not the great, you know, it's not the greatest figure for putting Kong on all fours. You could sort of make him look like he's running on all fours, which is cool. Like that pose is cool to make it look like he's like kind of like mid stride. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would be the way you would do it, to make it look like he's running, you know, which is kind of cool. You know, kind of how he's like galloping through Hollow Earth. That would be that pose you can make happen. Okay, now this pose just looks great. So yeah, I swapped out the hand for the hand that holds the axe. And this hand that was on it before, basically. So you could swap hands for whatever pose you want. The axe is really nice. It looks good in his hand. And then I also swapped out for the partially open mouth or partially closed mouth, whatever you say. This is a really nice head too, you know. That looks great. This is such an accurate Kong. Like both of the heads so far are very, very accurate. I love the teeth here. Look at that. Look at how detailed the teeth look. That looks awesome, man. Look at that bone color, the gums. Awesome. Very, very realistic. And the eyes so far on both of these heads are just amazing, man. It's so realistic. It makes the figure just come to life, you know. But this is a really nice pose, you know, that he's striking with the axe. Kind of similar to the GXK pose when he's walking through the dust, but a little bit different, though, with the, you know, when you have the look of the partially closed mouth. And that just looks really nice. Like, I really, really like this figure a lot. Look at the detail just all over it, all over the fur. This is a really nice Kong, you know, but let's see what else he could do. So right here, you could just make him stand basically looking fearsome with the axe. I swapped out one of the hands for a fist. I got him looking down with the partially closed mouth, put the axe at his side, and you could have him really, really staring you down. Awesome, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's really nice. This is a nice Kong, and it does have good posability, you know? But he just looks fearsome like that. All right, let's keep going. And now we could basically get a shot of him resting the axe on his shoulder and basically roaring into the sky with his fist pumped. Very cool that you could rest the axe on his shoulder like that, because he does do that in the movie. And this is the open mouth head, which is very, very nice. Look at the inside of the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, all very, very well done. The eyes on these figures are good. This is, you know, the eyes on the other two heads are better, I would have to say. But these are still serviceable, and they're nice looking, and it looks like Kong. It's a screen accurate representation of Kong. And that really looks great right there. So that's another cool pose you could get him in. Let's see what else he could do. We could get him in a nice beating on his chest pose and roaring into the sky. Right here, you know, Kong always beats on his chest. And it's nice to be able to get the figure to do that. That looks really cool. Very, very awesome screen accurate version of Kong. I'm impressed. Hiya Toys is really, really nice. They do it right, you know. And that's just a very cool pose right there. Might have to pose it like that on the shelf, because that looks awesome. That looks great too. Kong with both of his arms out like that. Awesome, looking like he's ready for battle. Of course, you can see how wide his legs go here in this pose, and how wide his arms go. Looks terrifying with that open mouth. And I happen to like this pose here, like almost an all four pose from the side of the box. So we're gonna put him in that, you know, where he looks like he's using one arm to run with his fist up. That's a nice pose as well. Yeah, you could do him sitting down, like he was sitting down on the boat, you know. Look at that. This has the best eyes. The closed mouth head has the best eyes. It's amazing. It's so expressive. That really looks like Kong on that scene when he's sitting down on the boat, chained to the boat. Awesome. That looks great. Look at that. Look at the detail on that face, on the eyes. Look at that. That jumps out at you. It looks like a mini Kong that's alive. It's crazy. And you could get him also into a nice, you know, flying with a double hands on the axe, like he jumped off at the building at Godzilla. So it's nice that it could do that. I was kind of surprised that it had the flexibility to do that, but it does, and it looks kind of awesome. So that's another bonus about this figure. That's very cool. All right, so now I just basically wanted to give you the shot of Kong from the front of the box. As you can see, with both fists in and the roaring open mouth head. Pretty cool, man. Very expressive, these Hiya Kong figures. They look about as screen accurate as you're gonna get, you know. It's pretty dope. Really, really loving the different poses you could get this guy in. Awesome. It's a nice, like, fighting pose with the partially open mouth. Sick, man, you know? Got to show you all of the posability of this, you know what I mean? That's why I'm putting them in so many different poses. But, sick, man. This is just a really nice Kong, honestly. I like this pose a whole hell of a lot, too. You get Kong basically on all fours holding the axe. Looks like he's walking with the axe, you know. That's dope, man. These Hiya figures, Hiya's great, man. They're really, really nice. Because you're getting a decent amount of articulation to get them in all kinds of cool poses. And it's just a well-done figure and screen accurate with great paint, a great paint job. And, of course, you could get him into the pose when he first finds the axe and he's beating on his chest. When he gets into the hollow earth and he finds, you know, his Kind's lair, basically. He pulls the axe out of the skull of a Godzilla, and then he raises it to the sky and beats on his chest. So you could recreate that scene, which is nice. Okay, so now I basically just want to compare them to some of the other Kongs that I have. So I have, these are the Bandai Movie Monster series, GVK and GXK. We have the Playmates Ferocious Kong, which is the Skull Island Kong. We have Playmates GVK Kong and Playmates GXK Kong. And then, of course, we have the Hiya GVK Kong, we have the Hiya Skull Island Kong, and we have the SH Monster Arch GVK Kong and GXK Kong. So this is just to give you a little bit of a glimpse of some of the different Kongs I own and the differences in them, as they're quite apparent, you know. You could see, like, none of these really look similar. So, but I want to isolate a few and talk about that. All right, so first off is just to point out the progress that Hiya has made from the Skull Island Kong, which is really nicely done, to the GVK Kong, which is a huge improvement. Obviously, you could tell the difference in size here. This is a teenage Kong. He's meant to be smaller, only 100 feet. Whereas the GVK Kong is over 300 feet by the time he gets to that. So it's, you know, the size difference is reflective of Kong's growth in the two movies. But you see here, I think pretty much everything is a little more detailed on the GVK figure than this one. You know what I mean? Like the skull, the paint on the fur, it's much more detailed here. It brings it out, the brown paint on it. This is much more chocolatey, but I guess that reflects how, you know, the colors in his color in the two movies. This is a nice figure, I'll tell you straight up. I got that one at Kaiju Brooklyn. But you could see the progression of Kong from the two movies, and that's rather nice, you know. So let's move on. Okay, so now we have Hiya versus SH Monster Arts. Both of these are the GVK versions. Obviously, you see the size difference. Hiya is a much bigger figure. It also feels like a far more durable figure, where the GVK, the SH Monster Arts GVK feels like it's a little bit on the flimsy side. But, you know, then again, that's because it has far more articulation on it. And, you know, for articulation, you really can't beat the SH Monster Arts. You're just going to be able to get it in far more poses. Kong on all fours on the SH Monster Arts looks way better. You could put him into that position far easier. So that's where SH Monster Arts takes the cake, of course. But we all know this, you know, and where Hiya makes up for it is just, in the screen accuracy, you know, because if you compare these two faces, obviously the Hiya face is far more accurate than the SH Monster Arts face. You know what I mean? So, you know, and then you're going to get decent articulation and a good overall figure with the Hiya. So, but, you know, this is how these two compare. Looks drastically different from each other. You know what I mean? And I do like SH Monster Arts Kong. Don't get me wrong. They're a lot of fun. A lot of posability. But there's problems with it. You know, like that gap right there. You know, that piece is very movable on his midsection, you know. And that's part of the reason why you get more articulation. But you got to keep tucking it in and it doesn't always look right, you know. Whereas this is just, you know, I like the way they do the chest and the torso better on this. But it does give you less posability, so, you know. But that's really the comparison between these two. Anyway, I'm going to always buy both no matter what. I like both Hiya and SH Monster Arts and appreciate what they both offer. So, you know, two worthwhile figures. Okay, and then what I also wanted to do was just bring in the Playmates GVK Kong to the mix to show you what it's like on the lower end. Like, and this is why I like Playmates figures, because this Kong right here is quite nice. And it's $9.99. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I paid for it. So, whereas, you know, I got this, after everything's said and done, for $80. This guy was, I think, 80 or $90 when it first came out. I don't remember. Something like that. But, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going to get the screen accuracy, and you're going to get the articulation, but with the Playmates, this is where you get your bang for your buck. So, you know, I do like all three, and I do like getting Playmates because I like to go into the store and get Godzilla figures, you know. So, you know, I'll collect them all, and I think they all offer something, you know. But yeah, don't sleep on Playmates, man. You know what I'm saying? Playmates makes a good figure for the price. So, yeah. All right, let's go on to the next. Okay, so now I just wanted to compare it with the Hiya GVK First Edition. And I really love this figure. You know, they improved on certain things from them, but this has a really nostalgic look to it. And the look of Godzilla is really very rough and tough. I like it. And I think the scaling is like just right, just perfect. You know, so you can recreate that pose when Kong is going to punch him in the face when he gets on the aircraft carrier. But this is how they scale, and they look great together. Then, of course, you got the heat ray translucent Godzilla, and this is how he scales with him. Put the axe in his mouth like he did in the movie, so you could do that kind of stuff with him too. Pretty cool. We haven't gotten a Mecha Godzilla from Hiya yet, but this is the SH Monster Arts Mecha Godzilla right here. And quite frankly, you know, I haven't scaled my Mecha Godzilla with the SH Monster Arts figures, but Mecha Godzilla is pretty huge, the SH Monster Arts version. And I think it scales possibly better with Hiya. This looks quite nice, actually. So, but I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to review Mecha Godzilla. I already started it, so you know, I'll dive deeper into that during that review. But I just wanted to give you the three characters from the movie, and yeah, that scales quite nicely, perfectly actually. So there we go. That is the Hiya GVK Kong. And, you know, I just want to say Kong is fun. I like collecting Kong. It's probably what I collect second most to Godzilla. I love getting them. I love doing reviews on them. I love posing them. I love how expressive they are. So that's the point that I want to drive home. Look at that. Look at that face right there. Look at those eyes. Awesome. But yeah, that's the point I want to drive home before anything else. You know, before this Hiya, SH Monster Arts war, you know, before any of the faults of any of the figures. It's fun. Kong is fun. Have fun with it, you know. And that's about it, folks. Till we meet again. Peace out. I got a few coming your way.